This is Old Victoria Restoration. My name is Lynette Weber, and I am a volunteer here. I've been volunteering here for the past 9 years. The Victoria Copper Mining Company was founded in 1899 to revive old copper mines up here on Forest Hill outside of Rockland. So the first thing they did was to erect temporary housing with 20 log cabins. 10 of them were right here on this site, and 10 of them were at the sawmill location down the North Country Trail from here. These cabins are 4 of the 10 that were originally built in the lower log location in 1899. They finished these cabins up before the ice went out on the river that year because there was no bridge yet. They had to get them built quickly. And originally there were 20 log cabins, but then they built 50 frame houses as well, and the population of Victoria peaked at around 750 individuals. This was all company owned, so the company built the cabins and the rest of the houses, and you had to be associated with the company to be able to stay in them. So it wasn't anybody's family home or homestead, but instead families came and went over the years, meaning that these aren't just the family homes of a few families, but actually of hundreds. The Victoria Copper Mining Company operated from 1899 until 1921, at which point copper prices had fallen post-war, and it was very difficult to maintain a labor force up here when there was $5 days being offered in the Detroit area by Henry Ford. And when the company shut down in 1921, the miners left this area. It wasn't until 1976 that the Society for the Restoration of Old Victoria was founded to salvage the history here and to interpret it for our future. It was a part of one of the bicentennial projects. We're still a nonprofit funded primarily by cinnamon roll sales and donations. This is Log Cabin Day, and it's held on the last Sunday of June every year. It's a Michigan legislated holiday to celebrate our log cabin pioneer heritage. And I feel that it's especially important for us to celebrate it up here at Old Victoria because the sense of place, the history of the Keweenaw is what makes it so special. And so we're telling the Copper Country story and keeping it alive in spirit for future generations. Another thing that's really special about this site is that it's believed to be the largest group of log cabins on their original foundations in the Midwest. Many historical sites have relocated buildings from other sites and other communities to be together in a collected village, but it's a collection. It's not an organic, natural setting. And so we're very fortunate here to have that type of setting. In addition to this lower log location, 10 cabins that we call Old Victoria today, there are other neighborhoods. One of them is called the Sawmill location. 10 log cabins were built here in 1899 when the mine first started up. And in these houses right here lived the men who worked with the horses in the logging part of the operation, and the men who worked at the sawmill. And then there is the top of the hill, the top of the pay scale up at the mine site where the frame houses, including the captain's house, which still stands at the end of the road today, were built. This big hole here, this is the site of the former boarding house. It's this big one right here. In the background, you can see the captain's house we've just passed. The mine employed as many as about 250 at one time. And when you add families onto that, that can create quite a large number of people on the site. There was a company store, a post office. There was a movie theater installed in 1917 in their community hall. So while it might seem very small today and is definitely a ghost town, things were a little bit different here around 1910. The Liberty Theater was purchased from Hurley, Wisconsin in 1917 as a used setup, and then the company hired somebody to play the organ for all of their silent film showings. So there was an organ player employed by the mining company. Old Victoria Restoration is open daily from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. through the peak of the summer season, with reduced hours available as we near the autumn months. A 1-hour tour is pretty typical for these 4 buildings, the site and the sauna. Although if you're strapped for time, we can do a mini tour that's only 1 cabin.